somebody's always told me, and they always say it is, you know, buy a kid a stick and a ball, and they'll play lacrosse forever.
All day life! All night life! Get ready life! And then we in the field like, all right!
Hey, just hey.
He's actually surprised.
Ladder gets bigger.
Yes, I feel like I'm like that really good, you know?
My wife calls it pigs in space.
This is LOWLAX, all right? This is the first shop that we had back in Mount Pleasant in 2009. And we got it from a lacrosse fan who was the owner of the building. And he knew that we were just kind of getting going and gave us the first like 6 months for free to just kind of get gear in here. Shortly after that, we opened up a shop up in Greenville, South Carolina, and then shortly after that, we opened up a shop in Savannah, Georgia. It's run by my kid brother actually, and he's running clubs too. But right from the get-go, you know, we needed to make sure that we knocked down all the doors of getting kids to play and having them want to come to the shop or need to come to the shop. And so we've been on the field with these kids, you know, since day one. And you know, that's been working well, you know, for us. I think in terms of plans, you know, we want to be more seen down at the ranch. You know, maybe like a tiny little sub shop down there that just maybe sells, you know, mesh kits and maybe apparel, heads, if someone breaks a head or a shaft or anything like that. But this will always be like kind of a mothership. You know, we had the biggest retailers in terms of you know, the hard goods, you know, with East Coast Mesh, String King, Maverick, Brine, and then we design our own apparel here. So I think that you know, we go to these tournaments and we're competing at these tournaments, but then we're also vending at these tournaments and trying to kind of get our retail brand out there. And it's been kind of a wild ride in terms of it's hard to have a retail shop if you're not, you know, boots on the ground on the field with the kids, and vice versa, you know. So I think that's one of the things that sets us apart, is that we have that kind of both of like, hey, your kid wants to play lacrosse, we can give them what you need.
You know, we have gone from the local rec departments to now we have kind of created our own. This is a Carolina Youth Lacrosse League, which is our own rec league that runs in the fall. We do a ton of camps and clinics from 2 to 3 year old kids just coming out with a stick and a tennis ball or a softball to our lacrosse travel team, the Loggerheads. We kind of started back in 2009, and that has grown to, you know, we had one high school team when we started to now we have a team for every age group, starting in elementary school all the way up through high school.
Here's our wall of colleges that we've had, you know, loggerheads come through the program and then get recruited to and play for. What I love the most is the guys that, you know, found a spot where they finished it all the way out, you know, spent all 4 years there.
Back in the mid 80s was when I was in middle school. The gear that I had kind of looked like this for the helmet. If you can see how the sport has evolved, you know, now we're selling all this really cool looking stuff that looks like this. Much more protective, much more practical. But yeah, I grew up outside of the Baltimore area. I went to college out in Ohio and played Division III lacrosse at a small private school out there. My life has always had lacrosse in it, from again, growing up, playing in college. After college, my job, I was in sales and management for a trucking business, and I got moved 4 times in 5 years to different areas. And every time I moved to a new area, I called the local men's lacrosse club and would move to a city that I didn't know anybody and immediately went out to a lacrosse game, played lacrosse with some other young professionals and met 20 to 40 guys. That made every transition much, much easier. And that's kind of what brought my love of lacrosse to the Low Country. I want everybody that possibly has, you know, that passion to be able to do the same thing down here, where, you know, lacrosse is not just a sport, it's kind of a life, from, you know, just playing as a youth to going to college and playing to meeting, you know, young professionals in new areas. You know, lacrosse can help do all of that. So a little bit back to the gear. My background is all in business and management, so I'm kind of the behind the scenes guy that keeps the lights on, pays the bills, manages the inventory, the retail side of it. Tom is the creative person that you see out on the fields. He's the fun young guy, I'm the grumpy old guy, I guess you could say.
So along with like the design effort we put in our brand, you know, we also transfer that into our team gear, you know, so we put a lot of that effort into like the loggerhead gear and the swag. Like here's a new Nike glove with some fade and the shell. This one made Final Four and best helmet in club lacrosse, and our uniforms just made #1 uniform in club lacrosse. You know, so the design effort is working, and kids are noticing. And I think that's you know, that's a big part of it too. You know, we want the kids excited for, you know, what they're wearing and what they're going out in the field doing. We don't put that at more of an importance than their actual play. But I think a nice balance is, you know, is worth the effort. So every year, I try to think of something to do as an extra thing that all the kids in the program can get, that kind of ties us back into, you know, being a little bit more part of the club and part of the culture, things that aren't necessarily necessary. So there's one year that I did a gear bag, had their name on it, had the logo. Another year we had some shoes, some cane shoes that were custom. You know, we had some chubby shorts. They all got you something else that, you know, if they're wearing at school, it's kind of like, hey, that's a loggerhead type of thing. And this year, what we did was give out everyone a Nike dyed head here. And you know, that's part of like the relationship with LOWLAX and with the club, is that we're able to do things like this without, like, the families don't see the price rise, you know. So if I was just like a normal club that didn't really have that relationship, well, yeah, I can give everyone a head, but all your fees are gonna go up $100, you know. Where their fees didn't go, no one's fees goes up, and we can do that as like kind of a, you know, something like a little gift that everyone, you know, has, and everyone's more a part of it.
So from a services standpoint, one of our biggest things that products that we offer here are stringing. We have these nice new Ion colorways that just came out.
Kids are always fascinated with the lighter, like why I gotta do that so like the string doesn't just keep fraying after you cut it. So we gave out 200 heads, and you know, I made sure that the boys didn't just bring them in the next day, and had a system that seems to be working well. Me and Alex have been stringing these heads, and it seems that you know, it's not too much of an overload. I don't have any blood on my fingers yet, but it's a lot. But it's going to be worth it when all of our kids are using the same head, and also that our pockets are all, you know, deep enough, and they don't hang on the shooting strings. We want our kids to obviously have, you know, good sticks. They don't have to worry about that. So, you know, we've been grinding away at this, and I think that's one of the things that we can also help with. just being this side of things is, if you're going into battle with a dull knife, you know, it's not going to do well for you. So we string up all these pockets in a way that you know, we can make sure that it's definitely the magician, not the wand.
Girls are a little easier when it comes to outfitting a girl because it's a stick and a goggle and a mouthpiece. 4 or 5 different beginner girl sticks. If a beginner girl comes in and wants to buy a beginner stick and a beginner goggle, they still get the 25% off. Again, to encourage and get as many young girls into the sport and trying it. We work our way up, again, beginner, least expensive up to our most advanced, and you know, you get into offensive sticks and defensive sticks. Try to give as many options to the girls as possible as the sport grows with them as well. We started with nothing, just a store. So, I mean, Tom and I basically didn't take a salary for quite a long time because we wanted to put everything back in the store because we didn't want to be a 2-year wonder. We wanted to last for a while. And, you know, there were some pretty tough days where Tom was probably eating peanut butter and jelly sandwiches for dinner, and I wasn't getting a paycheck. So, but we powered through that, and as you can see from everything on the walls, that, you know, we've lasted and powered through that, and now have what I'm proud to say is a true full-service lacrosse store. At LOWLAX, we are the lacrosse shop, run by lacrosse players for the lacrosse community.
Hey folks, Jeff is smiling right now. We got footage of Jeff smiling.